Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope that you're all having an amazing day. So I was lucky enough to get a Hyperscape drop from watching a Twitch stream, and I've had several hours now to really get into this new Battle Royale. And in this video, I'm going to be giving it a good and honest review, as well as sharing with you guys some beginner tips that I have picked up while playing. We will also be talking about the official release date for Hyperscape, both for PC and eventually console. So if this video helps you out, then help me out by hitting the like button, but let's get right into it. I'm going to assume that if you clicked on this video that you know what Hyperscape is. So I'm going to skip over all of the description information as to what the game is and jump right to exactly what I think about the game. To start off, I want to talk about my very first dozen games in Hyperscape. So I went into this game with almost no knowledge of the gameplay mechanics, which proved to be a major problem, especially for my first dozen games or so. This actually, in my opinion, is not a bad thing, and as a matter of fact, I would consider it a good thing, and that is simply because I think that there is an actual skill gap in this game. In an age of gaming where skill gaps are often being nerfed into the ground, I do think that this game has something crazy going for it, which is a massive skill gap. There are several different hacks in Hyperscape, all of which can be mastered to a point where they can be devastating. You can hold two different hacks, which essentially doubles the possibilities for methods of gameplay. For example, the power jump smash ability paired up with the armor ability can allow you to push an entire squad for some AoE damage and escape using the armor ability after the smash. Another example would be something like using the mines paired with invisibility to perhaps get close enough to a squad to drop a mine or two on them to pester them a bit. The possibilities are seemingly endless, and this can make for some insane plays. This kind of leads me into my first tip that I want to point out, which is that every single weapon and hack, when fully upgraded, can truly be devastating. So constantly be on the hunt to upgrade your weapons and your hacks, because the higher, the better. Some of the hacks, when they are maxed out, are even possibly overpowered and broken. So tip number one is get everything to gold if you can. Back to the review though, I will stick with positive things before I move on into what I don't like about the game, and right now we're going to talk about movement. So movement in this game is actually really good. While I was playing, I often thought in my head that this game feels like a parkour battle royale, and it does a really good job at making the movement feel fluid and proper. You can mount and climb on almost anything, which just adds to the skill gap, because being able to properly move around can literally be the difference between life and death in most scenarios. Another thing that this game gets right is the respawning. Hyperscape has a really unique system when it comes to reviving your teammates. So essentially you can only be respawned on top of another player's gravestone. So after you are downed, you are able to then move freely around and can look for another enemy's gravestone to stand on top of in order to get respawned. This is cool because most of the time it means one of two things when you are getting respawned. Either A, your teammates took out the squad that got you and you are now able to safely respawn there, or B, you guys managed to escape and have to go find another respawn. But even in instance B, where you escape, you will still have to go find another player's gravestone, which usually means that you're going to find another squad. This is amazing because it allows for a multitude of revive opportunities, but each one has its own risk versus reward and or consequences that come along with it. Another quick tip that I want to point out is that while you are downed, you are able to scout everywhere, and you need to recognize whether or not you will be able to safely be revived, and if not, then you need to go and scout for the teammates that are still alive. you'll see in this game that only one of our teammates was left, but me and the other guy still held in the entire time scouting for our teammates, and eventually you will see how this crazy match ended up ending. But moving on though, let's talk about some of the things that I don't like about this game. First of which is the fact that there is no minimap. So for at least 20 games, I was not even looking at the map at all. I had no clue where I was, I had no clue what zones were closing or which zones have already closed, and even now I rarely look at my map, and it is just a bit weird that this game doesn't have a minimap at all. To be fair, the action in this game is sometimes so non-stop that you don't get the time or don't even really need to look at your map, and it does a fairly decent job at directing you to the next safe zone. Also, Hyperscape's map doesn't close like any other battle royale, which leads me into my next problem, which is the fact that it doesn't do damage to the players when they are outside of the safe zone, or if it does, it is seriously the most minimal amount of damage that I have ever seen. Even on the endgame closings, I have had squads come out of a deteriorating zone to third party. I do think that if you are out there for too long, you will end up dying, but as of right now, you can walk out of a broken zone long after it's done deteriorating. This is just strange and caused more than one of my games to end in frustration, because in my mind I have always been trained in battle royales to get out of the storm as quickly as possible, especially towards the end game. I know at least once in Hyperscape I wasn't looking back at the squad that was shooting at me because I was trying to get out of the currently deteriorating zone, not knowing that the whole time I wasn't taking damage from the storm and could have and should have turned around and taken some shots back. This is another quick tip that I want to point out though, because this can for sure be used to your advantage. So don't be afraid to ride that zone if you have to. Another problem that I have with the game is the pinging system. As of right now, you can't do much other than the normal stuff with the pings. And this isn't the biggest problem, but there has been more than once where I wanted to ping an item to more or less save it, but couldn't, and a teammate ended up coming up and absorbing it. You'll actually see in this game that I dropped a Skybreaker to pick up a sniper so I could snipe the teams that were in the currently closing zone, and I wanted to switch back to the Skybreaker after the zone had closed, but my other teammate had already absorbed the weapon. It's not the biggest of deals, but a few more pings would be nice. And I might be a little bit biased here, but I feel like every single game, especially Battle Royales, should have pings just like Apex Legends. But anyways, let's talk about the official release date for Hyperscape. So Hyperscape will be coming out first on PC in an open beta starting on July 12th. So just 9 days from when I upload this video. This is cool, but I am more excited about the console release of this game because I, for one, truly believe that Hyperscape will be a huge hit on console. Unfortunately, the only information that we have is a report coming from the end of June saying that it will come out sometime after the PC beta in 2020. I don't know anything about exactly what it takes to port a game over from PC to console, but I'd imagine that they have been working on porting it for a while now, and I would expect a release sooner rather than later. But that is all of the information I have for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you have gotten to play Hyperscape yet, and let me know what you think about it. Also, if you haven't gotten to play Hyperscape yet, let me know who you are watching on Twitch in order to get that drop. I don't stream on Twitch just yet, but am setting up the account as we speak. So if you want to be an OG follower of my Twitch and be one of the first to follow it, then be sure to go and check it out. I will put a link on screen and also down in the description. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing day. I'm out.
Only 15 seconds left to stop the clown room.